reading. Welcome to you. So I've been wanting to do this particular title for quite the time, but I haven't had the chance. The title to this one is For Those of You Who've Never Felt Safe. For those of you who have never felt safe your entire life. For those of you who you don't even know what that means. You don't even know what it means to feel safe, right? We're going to work on you today. So, we're going to do quiet, soft reading today. This collective does not like to be yelled at. They don't like to be told what to do. They don't like to be pointed at. They don't like to be stared at for longer than half a second under stress or in public. This collective has a really hard time with 9 to 5 jobs because 9 to 5 jobs cross a certain boundary. They make people settle for less. They make people degrade themselves in a way. This collective feels like there's nothing out there available for you. Like everything is out there to cater to the loud one. Cater to the loud one. This collective is hypersensitive with audio. This collective has to have alters to fit in society or authoritative people. This collective has never felt safe because of abuse and trauma, because of their childhood, because of very, very bad memories. Welcome, this reading is for you. My name is Shoshana. If it has resonated so far, then this title is your reading. I will be using my medicine cards and my career oracle. Let's begin. A lot of times, whenever there's a mess of any kind for this collective, you feel like you're the one who always has to clean it up when someone else did it. And I'm not talking about physically. I'm talking about with family, things of that nature. What is out of balance? What is out of balance for this collective? Out of balance for this collective. That doesn't surprise me. Facing your shadow, facing your truth, facing the mirror, facing the dark side of yourself. Everybody has a light side and a dark side, right? Some people love to show their dark side. Some people use their dark side as an occult. Where they choose to embody the dark side, right? And then others choose to embody the genuine light side, the Ming, the divine Ming. not the artificial light, but the divine Ming, and they choose to embody that. Some people go back and forth between both. Back and forth between both. And there's some that want to hide that side and not show it at all and act like it doesn't even exist. What is out of balance is not acknowledging what you consider the imperfections. What is out of balance is something that is constantly being dismissed. And this is going to be different for all of you, of course. But I feel like the bigger question here is, where did it come from? Not where this came from, but where did this come from? Who formed it? Is it even yours? Has it been implanted? Is it a character, personality trait, addiction that has been implanted subliminally, externally by external forces, external entities, external frequencies, external dues? And is it even yours? And regardless of what it is and where it came from, we clear it. We clear all this, I want to say, succubus, incubus, mimic energy, and we clear it out. Negative traits, bipolarness, schizophrenia, all those are heart blockages. In Chinese traditional medicine, schizophrenia doesn't even exist. It represents possession because of lack of love and lack of affection. And it's important to evaluate these aspects every single day. Emotionally, there's these layers of trauma that come and seem to never leave, right? And all we can do is clear the layers, layer by layer by layer by layer. Those memories, a lot of people in this group have these triggering memories. And when you are feeling at your low, entities are the ones that put those memories there. So let's say you're happy and you're recovering from your day before. You're just recovering from the day before. These entities will put memories on you and say, hey, do you remember what happened when you were 3? Do you remember how bad you were treated by that auntie or by that uncle or by that cousin or by your brother or by your mother, by your father? And then that memory takes up your whole day. And because you're already feeling low, you embrace the self-destruction and allow re-traumatization to take place. And therefore, you become re-traumatized by an entity that simply reminded you of something that really did happen. It's important to clear those memories and know that they come with agendas. Those memories come with agendas, so we clear them because we don't want to re traumatize ourselves just because we're in a morbid mood. I remember something that happened a long time ago, so I'm going to listen to dark music and turn off all the lights all day long. Those are all ego infused. I'm all by myself. I'm lonely. No one has ever loved me. I'm going to self destruct. That's ego based. Um, when you give in to ego, you start to shake. You see how there was a shaking? You see how the ego brought a shaking? I don't know if you noticed that, but the card started to tremble after we talked about ego infused. There's this earthquake because, in my opinion, from all the years of experiences that I've had with the paranormal and the supernatural and the energy world and the spiritual world, the biggest blockage that I believe is affecting humanity today is ego. Ego, when you don't know how to get rid of it, when you don't know how to clear it, you could be a master and not know how to. You can be an exorcist, you can be an acupuncturist, you can be an acupressurist, you could be a healer and still not know how to get rid of ego. Ego is the root of all negativity and issues and blockages because ego is the cause for people's resentment, bitterness, ego, hatred. It all comes from ego. Jealousy, envy, narcissism, it all comes from ego. Sabotaging your own blessings, sabotaging your own miracles, sabotaging your own love life, that is all from ego. It's not to say that that the person who abused us during childhood deserves good things. It means we deserve the forgiveness and we have to forgive the abuser for our own healing, not because they deserve it. When you don't forgive the person who harmed you, it creates bitterness, resentment, and sickness follows. So by you forgiving the abuser, you're clearing yourself of any sickness that might follow from that bitterness and allowing them to sit with their own consequences. And a lot of times those consequences have to do with never speaking to certain family members again. Just because you forgive a family member doesn't mean that you have to speak to them again if you don't want to. What is the suggestion? Pat yourself on the back. Patting yourself with your palm in different areas of your body, under your armpit, your lymph nodes, your chest. Tapping yourself with the palm will heal you and remove a stagnant energy. So make sure to pat your lymph nodes under your armpit. It's very important to get the blood circulating because this group has a circulation issue where, let's say you're retired or unemployed at the moment, don't let your body know that. Don't let your body know that you're unemployed and retired. Don't allow your body to become not active, because once it's not active, it starts to shut down and you have circulation issues. And you don't want blood clots or anything like that. Blood clots is really harming people. Um, in recent years, it is the blood clots that is coming from the mandate procedure that people were not saying no to. Those are the things that have been causing a lot of blood clots. So by not making sure that your body is circulating with stretches, putting your arms above your head, doing flips, where I don't know how flexible you are, but one of my favorite stretches is doing a handstand against the wall and doing handstand push-ups. So you flip all the way over and then put your feet against the wall and do sit-ups, push-ups, handstand push-ups, using the wall for support. It's great for circulation. Here we have use your abilities, use your talents. So your abilities, your big, bright, healing abilities, your presence is healing, is the reason why you experienced so much spiritual warfare, so much spiritual interference, so much abuse, so much physical abandonment and neglect from your own family who was supposed to be there for you. The reason why is because of jealousy. Jealousy is the ancient form of witchcraft. And unfortunately, we live in times where a lot of people have it, where people would rather wish someone harm than be happy for them for finding their true love, their true job, the person they were meant to be with, for landing the job they were meant to land, etc. It's like a plague where it just seems like the closer you get to the city, the more people just throw shade at you and envy you for simply existing. So this group feels that way. A lot of people in this group have become introverted, not by choice, but for protection. However, you were not meant to be in a cave your whole life and survive. You were meant to live and thrive and heal and overcome all of the BS that life seems to have handed you. However, it is your own genuine Ming, your own genuine light, your own talents, your unique talents. Everybody comes with unique talents. Some people are really good craftsmanship people. Some people are really good at carpentry or art, visual healing. There's some people who can create healing art through painting. So we all come with these unique talents, and in your unique case, you might find like your life is a riddle, like your life is a chess game, and you haven't found that one move or that key or that exit, and it's your own talent that is the key to the exit here. Nothing else outside of you is going to solve a certain issue. I feel this heavily with your career of choice. A lot of you have settled for less. settled less for than you deserve, having to be yelled at and scolded by somebody that is below you. Being micromanaged when you have the power to run your own empire. There is a need to end that pattern, that loop of continuing to settle for less in regards to work. Replacing and eliminating dead-end jobs and replacing them for something that ties into your purpose. Your purpose, your mission, your talents, they are trembling to be used by you. And for you to work for yourself and represent yourself and do whatever you can to make that happen, because there's an empire, a very selfish corporate empire that is already in shambles and bankrupt and can't even take care of itself. So that's why the work industry, the job prospects all seem bleak, because the owners are getting their justice for being greedy and corrupt and neglecting their businesses that they want run for minimum wage by other people when they should be taking care of their own businesses. And if they can't take care of their own businesses, then they should evacuate that shop and let somebody else take over that little shop, like a local or a family-owned business that can take care of that shop better. Because it seems like a lot of places are falling apart. Their roof is falling apart. And where do we stand? We stand as needing to employ ourselves with our own talents and our own power instead of constantly relying on external forces to resolve very internal, intimate issues. And that's how they look next to each other. I like flipping them over so I can concentrate. And this is going to be our last medicine card. This one is going to be the tool. What is the tool that we already have that we can use to sustain the alignment? This one is very difficult to do. This is about breaking the loop, breaking the cycle, breaking generational curses, breaking family generational curse loops, breaking addictions, breaking habits. If you already medicate holistically or with herbs, microdosing instead, not over medicating, not abusing medicine, letting go of addictions that are being used as a distraction to block us from what really needs to be done. And let's see how these all look together. Do you see how there's a lot of gloom? There's this sense of gloom that needs to be dealt with. This one also has a very global feel to it. Like, when are things going to get better? How do we stop them? When does it end? Even though it may not seem like it, a lot of times things continue in the outer world, such as violence, because there's something that's continuing within our own selves. Sometimes when there's a part of us that continues to be self-destructive or loopy in anything for the matter, because the list goes on, what happens? Nothing changes in the external world. And have you noticed that when you are more self-nurturing, it brightens up the external world just by being self-nurturing? The external world becomes safer. So the safety has to be created by taking care of the inner child. When you're confused about your life, you tap in and communicate with your inner child, and your inner child will tell you exactly why X, Y, and Z is happening. And it will seem very simple and silly at first, the answers that you acquire, but they make sense. And your inner child will call you out and sometimes even roast you because there were contributions that could have been prevented that one had during the journey. And then those lessons are used for the future to prevent another incident from happening again. This could have to do with letting the wrong people too close. And that's something that this group is learning in the social world, is never again letting enemies that close. And who I call an enemy is anybody who can't be happy for you. Anybody who can't be happy for you. This could be a family, a friend, an ex, someone who just can't be happy for you. They just can't be happy that you found whatever it is that you were looking for your whole life. Instead of being happy for you, they have to wish you harm. Once they wish you harm, they become an enemy. And that's why this group has become so introverted, because they never want this situation to repeat again. They never want to be in a situation like that again where they can't trust anybody, where no one wishes them well. So they connect with Christ consciousness. You connect with Christ consciousness. You connect with the nameless, boundaryless source, and you realize that you're better off alone. But after so many years, that isolation becomes toxic, and it's important for you to break those patterns of bed rotting, house rotting, like maybe your whole family did. And breaking that pattern where you say, you know what, just because I was betrayed, it doesn't mean that there's not people out there that will join forces with you to create a positive community and positive results and positive changes. Okay, so I am definitely going to repeat this kind of title in the future. And let's do oracle cards, because when you're hypersensitive, it's very important for you to not settle for working just anywhere. File for unemployment if you have to, but be discerning, be picky. I do go on social media a little bit, and when I do, I notice that a lot of people just settle in love. They settle in love, they settle in work, they settle for what's available. And I don't even know, it mind boggles me that people just settle for what is available as opposed to searching via soul. So, for example, dating, you're not supposed to date what's available. You're supposed to date with your soul and have your soul choose through soul recognition. And it's kind of similar with a job. You have to let your soul choose what kind of job or career you want to do. What does your soul want to do? Because if you choose with your mind and logic, your inner child is going to get wounded again. And that's where that sense of not feeling safe takes place. It has to do with how you neglect and treat and dismiss the desires and needs of the inner child. And what I've noticed is that a lot of times, if not all the time, the inner child is completely neglected and denied for logic and reason. You have what is logical, what is reasonable, and then you have what is desired and needed by the inner child. And because of distractions and social media, the inner child is just completely dismissed, and only reason and logic takes place, and that's why everybody is unhappy. They're unhappy because they are disconnected from their inner child, disconnected from nature, disconnected from finding their solutions through their soul, and instead go outward and external. Going outward and external is only going to ego boost you. Anything outwardly and external is only going to satisfy a very materialistic, superficial aspect of you, and that is not ultimately satisfying. And that's the reason why so many people who are wealthy are miserable and unhappy, because they're trying to satisfy themselves from the outside in instead of the inside out. Give and take. Be open to giving and receiving to keep the flow of abundance going. Give someone a chance and ask for what your heart desires. For any of you who are looking for a new job or a new career, a new hobby, here's one of your clues. Something where there is an equal give and take. people skills. So, a lot of people in this collective need to socialize with other like minded people, other people who are just as hypersensitive as you. You have a flair for working well with others. You just have to find the right people. But just because you were betrayed by family or ex friends in the past doesn't mean that it will happen again. And that's another reason why a lot of people have issues with finding their love, is because they make their true love suffer because of bad experiences, even if their true love did nothing at all. Oh, well, my ex girlfriend broke my heart and cheated on me, so I'm gonna make the love of my life that was meant for me, that I've been waiting for lifetimes to reunite with, I'm gonna make them suffer the consequences. And that's what people need to cancel, and scratch out of their love life, because I see it all the time. I see the true loves suffer the consequences for their true love being hurt by their past. And this also happens socially, where people don't want to socialize and open up and make friends ever again just because they had one bad egg, just because they had one bad apple. They make the positive ones suffer. So it's important to rekindle your people skills or rekindle your social skills. You could be a diplomat, a counselor, a salesperson, or a head of a company. Okay, so pretty much this is really scary for some. A lot of people want to work from home and they don't want to go out in the world. But haven't you noticed that when you do go out into the world, you have fun? And it just doesn't seem that way in the beginning. But if it's to a positive place and a positive activity, and an activity that your inner child approves, or your intuition approves, your stomach approves, then there's no reason why it should not be a positive experience to go out to the right function. And last but not least, we have opportunity. Doors are opening up for you. You have the chance to change jobs, start a business, open a business, invest in a new venture. Just do it. So if you've been feeling like doors are closing for you, it's because the right ones are closing for you so the right ones can open. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time. Bye.